This is More Than Construction, a Journey Group podcast about building community. Hello, and welcome back to More Than Construction. I'm your host, Nathan Walter, along with my co-host, Aaron Ike. And today we are continuing our sequence of episodes highlighting each of Journey's divisions. Last episode, we highlighted Journey Construction, our vertical construction division, and today we're going to take a look at SFC Civil, our bridge, heavy highway division, and kind of all of the above. We'll dig into a lot more of what they do, but we've brought in the experts on this topic. We have Jared Gusso, Vice President of SFC Civil, and Josh Dede, Project Manager for SFC. Gentlemen, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Together, we're going to examine how SFC came to be, what it's like to be part of the SFC team, and how SFC is helping our surrounding communities and even beyond. I'm excited. Are you guys excited?
Yes, very much. This will be interesting.
I think this is going to be fun. Well, Jared, let's start with your story. How long have you been working at Journey Group? Tell us how you started with the company and the journey it's been for you to get to where you are today.
Right. So I started as summer help going to college, would have been 1994, and came back for 2 more summers while going to school. Applied, was hired on full time as a superintendent coming out of college, and just worked up through the ranks from there to project manager and then to vice president. So literally started ground level, mailroom, if you will.
So, Jared, I got to ask, how old is that Sioux Falls construction folder that you always carry around? Is that from 1994 as well, or?
Probably pretty close.
I stepped into Kyle's office. Kyle is also a project manager for SFC, and he said to ask you about your Polaroid pictures.
That back in the day, we didn't have digital media, and for documentation for projects, for cost records or otherwise, it was the old either Polaroids or disposable cameras that you'd buy at Lewis Drug and get the film developed. So
you were doing my job, essentially. You'd go back to the site and take pictures and all of that.
Yep.
Little did you know, Jared was a marketing strategist.
There we go. Yes.
The best was when we won H Street. A couple weeks into it, Jared comes from the archives and brings this folder up and blows the dust off of it. And it's from when we repaired H Street Bridge in 1977.
Oh wow.
So even before him, they kept the Polaroids. So there was 4 pictures on the H Street Bridge sitting there. So.
How did you know that we even had that?
I think it was Randy mentioned that we had done it before. And by luck, just went down to the archive room and found the right binder.
That is fantastic. I love that. I've heard a story, and I only know parts of it, so I'd like to hear the full thing. But apparently, in your early days, there was a concrete truck incident.
Well, I think the one that might be that you're thinking of is back in the day. Summer help, I was driving truck for blacktop paving. Mixed up the signals with the paver operator, dumped about a half a load of mix in front of the paver, and was not the most favorite employee coming the next morning.
Probably learned how to better use a shovel.
That they called me back, but just on a as needed basis, not a regular basis.
Well, I'm glad that didn't impede your growth in the company.
It took me out of the asphalt world and put me into the concrete world.
There we go. So now SFC has the benefit of Jared on the team.
Yep.
Cool. Well, Josh, let's shift to you. What's your journey story? How did you get to where you are today?
I've been with Journey for about 6 years now. Grew up basically doing concrete work. My dad owned a business for quite some time and worked for him, and then got into some other companies, did some mainline concrete, did some underground. And about 6 years ago, I was ready to jump with Journey and accepted the job, and they accepted me here. So that's kind of in a nutshell, real quick, my story.
And before Journey, correct me if I'm wrong, but you didn't have any experience in the bridge side of things, right?
Nope. Didn't have any experience. I actually, about 2 weeks into it, I had to tell Jared as he was talking, I said, time out. I have no clue what you're talking about. We hopped in the car and went to look at a bridge, and he went through what everything was. So from there on, it was a lot easier.
Jared said abutment, and you said what?
Yeah. There's a real confidence booster when Josh says, I don't know what you're talking about.
That's great, though, that you could join the team and have that freedom to learn, though. Like, that's got to be such a cool experience. And now look at where you're at today.
Yeah, it's really nice. We're all unique in our own way. Jared brings a lot to the table. Kyle does. I do. Soren. We all have different experiences that's really helped each other grow through the years. So.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really cool. So at the beginning of the episode, I said you guys are the SFC experts. So let's talk about SFC. SFC Civil Constructors. What's their deal? Who is SFC Civil? How did they originate? What's their area of expertise?
Started with bridge building and such. And actually, they back then, Sioux Falls Construction purchased a bridge builder, F.I. Cummings, and to get the bridge building side of it, the equipment and superintendents, people that knew how to do it, and started building bridges for DOT, municipalities, counties around the area, North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Iowa. I think they did a couple over into Minnesota. And that just continued to evolve with that work type, and then evolved into bridge repair as that need came around as the bridges started to age. And so they started doing repairs, started doing low slump overlays, bridge girder repair, anything structure-wise that needed fixing. And so that just kind of became a type of work, if you will. So that continued through a number of years, and we performed that work as Sioux Falls Construction, and we reorganized into Journey Group. And through that reorganization, we wanted to break off our own identity, as we were always part of the overall umbrella. So that's when the SFC Civil came to be.
Yeah.
So
yeah, what we didn't realize was how many owners knew that we did building projects and didn't know that we did bridge projects. And then the bridge side of things that knew we did bridges and didn't know we did buildings. So it's really nice to give them their own identity to really excel at what they do.
Right. And so as we were going through potential names and kicking things around, we also wanted to encompass water, wastewater, lift station, other civil works projects that we also do. So that's why we're not SFC Bridge or Bridge Repair or whatever. We wanted to encompass the work that we do.
Yeah, exactly. So can we talk a little bit about that? Like, what are some of the other arenas of construction that you guys touch?
Right. So, a lot of it, like say, if you think of like civil works projects, so water, wastewater, sanitary lift stations, flood control, soil retention. We've done some recovery energy projects. We get into some plant work, which is not so much true civil, but get into some plant work and stuff too. So
yeah. So as a project manager, how does that work with such a diversity of projects? Has that been a challenge for you? Has that been nice and exciting to have this variety? What's that experience like?
I honestly enjoy it. The variety of the things. One day we might be building a new bridge, and the next day it's a lift station or bridge repair. I like having the difference in options. It's fun for me to bid it. It's fun for me to run it. We work heavily with our superintendents too. They have a wide variety of knowledge. So if it's something new to me, I call and work with them, and most of the time 10-15 minute conversation, you can figure out a good way to do something.
So take us through a typical bridge build project. I know we've been building some bridges on I-90. We'll talk about this in a little bit, but we have some upcoming bridge projects there even this year. Walk us through that process.
So on the new bridge side of things, we win a job, told we were low on it. It's immediately into the planning phase. We've made that a big part of our operations now, picking the superintendent, working with them. They'll do a lot of preparatory work. Anything that we can pre-build helps out big time out there. And then when it gets time, most of the time there's a bridge to demo. We work with SoCup a lot. There's one other contractor that really does the bridge demo, so we're out there with them, get the bridge dropped, and then it's time for us to go to work and hit the ground running. It really depends. Like the McCook ones, there's rivers running underneath of them. So
yeah.
To get access to build the footings, we have to drive sheet pile, and last year we had 45-foot long sheets that we were driving into the ground. So it ends up being a pretty big cofferdam. It was 54-foot long and 24-foot wide at the end of it on the East Vermilion. So you get that put up and excavate it out, start driving your pile and onto the concrete work side of things. it seems like at first getting going, it takes quite a while, but once you get down and start driving the pile and everything starts going pretty quick.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
So you get them up and get all your substructure work up, set the girders, and then forming the deck starts. Get that poured. I'm making it sound way simpler when the superintendent's listening to this.
How to build a bridge in 30 seconds.
Yeah. It took you 5 minutes to explain. What do you think the most stressful piece of a new bridge construction project is?
Honestly, for me, it's the startup of it, getting everything going. We're a subcontractor a lot, and so we have to work closely with the general contractors and other subs, stuff like that. So for me, the most stressful piece is trying to get it off and running without too much of a hitch. So
one thing with our bridge work, both on the new bridge and on the repair side, is we have about 90% self-performed. So we, when we're a sub doing just the bridge, we're obviously 100% less the demo. If we're a prime, we still have about 90% of the work ourselves. So a lot of man hours, a lot of coordination, scheduling, making sure the subs are there when you need them, and making sure we have the right crew on site. Yeah. And have a good plan put together up front, like Josh mentioned in the planning phase. Have our safety plan put together, get everyone on board, and know what we're doing and how to mitigate the higher risk stuff.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah, you talk about the deck pours. I've had the privilege of being at a couple of those this last year and filming them as they happen. And they remind me of like a barn raising or like harvest or something where it's like all hands on deck, a lot of work happening, but yet it's also kind of celebratory at the same time. Like this is kind of the final step and everyone's, working together and you see everyone there and it's your big team. It seems like such a cool part of the process to be involved in.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot of planning goes into it. It is a celebratory thing. The guys are very happy when it's done. There's rumors back in Jared's day when he was a laborer that they used to have a keg out there when they're done.
Cannot comment.
Oh, that's great. So, Jared, you had mentioned bridge repair as well. And last year we highlighted the 8th Street Bridge in downtown Sioux Falls, restoring it to what it should be and obviously making sure it's safe, but also making it beautiful in this kind of statement piece in downtown Sioux Falls. Can you guys talk a little bit about that aspect of bridge work as well? I think Marlon was talking in our first episode just about how that really helps improve the life and longevity of a structure like that saves your city dollars, saves your county dollars and that sort of thing.
You're exactly right, Nathan. I mean, you put it's just like everything else. You got to put a certain amount of dollars into it for maintenance and upkeep, and save a lot of dollars on the backside. We've done deck overlays that are 20 years old that are still on. Wow. That the state's still able to use that bridge on the interstate trunk system, and not have to spend millions of dollars to replace it. You can spend $250, $300, $500, whatever level of repair is needed, and have it for 20 more years. So in today's world of tight budgets and constraints and stuff, it's huge to be able to get a long life out of those assets. I'll let Josh speak to 8th Street because that repair is one in a million. I mean, that's a once in a lifetime, if you will, that I've never seen and I'll probably never see again. And it's just very intricate and unique.
Yeah, the 8th Street had a lot of challenges. Utilities were just one of them. They actually had basically another bridge over top of our bridge holding the utilities up. So we got to work around that, and all the fill in the center of that bridge had to come out with conveyors and mini excavators. So that it was time consuming there. We ended up chipping all the repairs off the side and underneath. I don't even have the exact figures, but there was a countless man hours involved with that project to rehab it. But at the end of the day, the cool thing is all the guys were happy to do it because they see the end product, and they built that. They built that at the end of the day, and it's a 110-year-old structure. It was a cool project. Jared said it's once in a lifetime. We made Roads and Bridges magazine. We were on the cover once, and another time we were in there for the number 4 bridge in America.
Yeah, that is fantastic.
21. So yeah, that was once in a lifetime project.
Yeah, and it's a signature bridge for the city. Most of our structures around here are very utilitarian, if you will, and to be able to save and maintain that bridge for the city. And I think they were talking another 30, 40 years of life they expect out of that one. So again, save the city some dollars and have a really cool signature downtown structure.
Absolutely. Well, I think that's a perfect segue into talking about the title of this podcast, that we do more than construction here at Journey. The 8th Street Bridge is a fantastic example of that, but really every bridge that we build is an example of that, in that we're providing something that's more than just a structure. It's an art piece, or it's something that's going to save your community a lot of dollars, or it's something that's going to enable safe travels across the country. Like, can you guys talk about that side of what SFC does, in that we really do provide more than just construction?
Our guys, come to work, they're invested in the project. We truly believe that if the traveling public's driving down the road and they don't know the transition or the difference between the bridge and the main line, and every time they flush their toilet or turn on their tap, the waste goes away and the water comes in with no hiccups, then we've done our job. And we don't do every job, and we don't need to do every job and can't do every job, but we're a part of that. We're a part of a better quality of life, and that's really truly in our employees too. It's not just us, it's our employees putting the work in place day after day and really committed to the final product. It's not a huge cathedral by any means, but it's the part of the transportation network of the United States, of the state, of the county we're in, the city you're in, and it's important.
Yeah. You probably need a bridge to get to the cathedral.
Yeah, right. We completed a bridge in 16, and the detour for the people on the south side was 80 miles one way. Wow. One way. So I mean, you talk about that's just a bridge, and there's kids driving to high school every day up to Murdo, and it was 80-mile detour. Wow. So it's important to those families, to those people.
Yeah.
To the mail carrier.
Yeah.
To the emergency services. Yeah. It's the list goes on.
Yeah.
I always find it fascinating that our guys out in the field, every one of them, I get comments all the time when some coworkers go out to visit the site, how passionate they are about the work that they do. They're just as passionate as Jared and I are when we're doing the projects. So that's always nice to see.
Yeah, definitely. That's fun to see. So we're almost out of time, but real quick, let's talk about upcoming projects. What projects do we have down the pipeline that are really exciting for you guys?
Well, we got the McCook County bridges. We did the eastbound in 21. We're going to be doing the westbound, two new bridges and 2 repairs coming up this season. There's a new bridge, actually a new interchange coming up in Brookings. That'll be a new bridge that we're doing. We got a box culvert in Hutch County and some approach and repair work up in Edmonds. We'll still have that collector well. I think that's going till about July time frame. And then we did get the 41st Street Bridge. That'll be 2023 work on that one as well. That one's a removing of the deck and adding a couple girders and putting a new bridge deck on. And then I'll let Jared talk to the Smithfield because...
Yeah, we have some work down at Smithfield here in Sioux Falls, kind of ongoing remodels and different little projects here and there for them. Really helps, especially in the wintertime when we don't have a lot of structure stuff going. We're able to collaborate with them and help them out with their plant and facilities. And then we also have a bridge repair project down in Hutchinson and Turner County that have 3 different bridges that replacing bearings, jacking up the bridge, and some deck repairs, bent cap repairs, stuff like that too. So pretty much a full season of literally everything we do.
Yeah, sounds like a full year for sure. That is fantastic. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a pleasure talking with you. And thank you, listeners, for tuning in. Please remember to follow this podcast. That helps us, and it helps you stay up to date on new episodes that come out. Journey Group's mission is to positively impact lives by building community. So thank you again for taking the time to explore with us what it means to do more than construction. Until next time.